This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. We are live in downtown Las Vegas from the Circa Resort and Casino. Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard on a Tuesday. Busy 3-hour banger lined up for you today. We have a lot of guests on the program, and we also have had a ton of news. It's like somebody turned on the faucet today in the NFL and said, let's keep this bad boy going until the water runs out. And it won't stop. And the biggest, of course, Paulie, within the last 90 minutes or so, I plan on coming in today and saying, people are going to say Tomlin has to go. I'm not going to be one of those guys. I don't think it was his problem. I think it was just the organization not getting the right personnel. And I think the offensive coordinator, again, the guy that they hired in Arthur Smith was terrible, and the lack of quarterback play. Although Rodgers was game for the regular season, not good enough to actually compete with these other teams. He wiped out anything that you could really say because he just decided to step down today. And now everybody's chiming in. It was about time.
Yeah. Also, too many people knew this story that he had a TV deal lined up, ready to go as well. Too many people were reporting that yesterday like they knew the outcome. And then after the game, he's asked about it. I haven't thought about my future. Okay.
So
and then he calls it quits today after 19 years.
So when it turned into a blowout last night, and Buck and Aikman actually brought that up on the podcast or on the broadcast.
Yeah.
And that is he can basically name his landing spot, and there is a job waiting for him or multiple jobs waiting for him if he wants to step down. That I was like, why would they bring that up? They absolutely know something about that. And then people in the know were saying that Fox would be the leader to get him. And you can find, by the way, a bunch of different markets to bet right now on Mike Tomlin, on prediction markets. I don't think I want to take a swing on him. He's not going to take another gig, is he? Why would he leave the comfort of being the Pittsburgh head coach? He's not going to get fired, right?
How about Zach Taylor, last man standing in the North?
Nobody had that.
How about that? That's
nobody
ridiculous.
Had that. Yeah.
Shows you how inept the Bengals are. So the national media loves the guy, and we'll talk about what an incredible run and never had a losing season.
Sure.
But most Steeler fans are saying about time because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. He leaves now, tied with the longest playoff losing streak. How about the 1-11 record when trailing at halftime? That's something. And you go out with the losing streak. You go out in a bad performance like that. And an 8-12 playoff record, the last win in 2016. How about outscored 131-58 in your last 3 wild card games, too?
Yeah. I'm not going to bash the guy. I'm not.
It's a polarizing coach, though.
Oh, I know. I understand that. I would also say this. Look,
he started off so hot, and then come on. For that organization to go this long without a playoff win is unacceptable.
Yeah, that's not great, obviously. But I will remind people that, I don't know, for the last 2, 3, 4 years, whatever it's been now, in the summertime, as we're getting ready for the football season to begin, you hear nonstop about, the Steelers are not going to, come on, they're not winning 9 games, they're not winning 10 games, they're not a playoff team, division's too good, they don't have a good enough team, this whole thing, the narrative of Tomlin's never had a losing season, it's going to end this year, and it never does, and it hasn't. And if, just again, watching this team play again last night, it solidified it to me, and it has for a long time. It's how did he keep winning games to get to 10 wins on a season, to be a playoff team, to be a division winner? They're not that good.
Well, shame on the Baltimore Ravens, too.
Of course.
They couldn't stop Aaron Rodgers.
Yes, and they're not that talented. And yet, somehow, some way, he would extract that many wins every single year from them. So maybe deep down in his heart of hearts, he knew that we are completely stuck in neutral. We're always going to be picking in the 20s in the draft. So that's probably going to make it difficult for us to land the guy that can become our next Ben Roethlisberger, because it hasn't happened since he retired.
Couldn't find a quarterback. That's
could not
fair.
find a quarterback at all.
Horrible losses, though. Nobody lost more games to bad teams than this guy, too.
And I'm just wondering, maybe the best thing for the organization in his brain was, if I step down, they're going to bring in somebody and it's not going to stay afloat, and eventually they're going to be able to pick higher in the draft and land their next quarterback, and eventually they're going to have to go through a couple of years where it's not fun and they're going to win 4 or 5 games, but then they'll pick right back up and they'll probably take off and be a 10-win team for a long time after that.
Cignetti's from Pittsburgh.
Yeah, he's 64.
Yeah, they'll probably go young. That is interesting, though.
That was a good tweet earlier today. They hired Noel when he was 37. They hired Cowher when he was 34. And they hired Tomlin when he was 34.
That's nuts. They're looking for their fourth coach since 1969 now.
Think about that.
That's nuts. I know. This is also from Bill Barnwell. Lost to the Jags in 2017, the Browns in 2020, the Chiefs in 2021, the Bills in 23, the Ravens in 24 in the game last night. They trailed on every single snap in the second half of every one of those games. Interesting and a complicated legacy. I'll say that.
What about the angle of Tomlin and Harbaugh switching?
Oh, God.
Tomlin goes to Baltimore, Harbaugh goes to Pittsburgh. Would that add anything to the rivalry? So this was live today. Steve Biscotti, owner of the Baltimore Ravens, was talking to the media when the news broke, and here was his reaction.
He did? Is it official?
That's what I keep hearing. So, is he a candidate here?
Holy Mike, wouldn't that be awesome? Only if John takes the Pittsburgh job.
Now we're talking. Come
That's
on.
Great. That is great.
How fun would that be?
The room loved it. That's excellent. Well, I'm glad he came out with a decision right away.
Yeah.
Who knows what Rodgers, who knows how long he'll milk this.
Well, what do you think?
That's the other one. That's got to be it. I mean, he just can't move. And I know they had some, I liked them yesterday. They had some strong performances down the stretch offensively. And they were great in the two Baltimore games.
Yeah.
But you get Metcalf back. He has a couple drops. But you just see, like the Cleveland game, as you pointed out, in this ferocious pass rush, he can't move. And they couldn't connect on anything deep. And then the big turnover. So as bad as he played, and they were 2 of 14 on third down, Stroud was worse. And that's a 10-6 game with 11 minutes left. Yeah. And I thought for sure this was a Pittsburgh special, and they were going to steal that
looked
game
like it.
because of Stroud. Hang around, another stupid mistake, the interception. Guy has 5 fumbles. Come on. 5 fumbles for a quarterback. And still they're in position to win the game until the defensive touchdown.
Like, can Stroud play worse, or could he have a game that's that bad again? Or is that absolutely rock bottom for him? That was an abomination last night out of him.
I was calling for Davis Mills, although his wife just had a baby, so he was probably up against it as far as prep. But he was that bad. This is your third year in the league. You cannot throw an interception there inside the 10-yard line.
Yeah.
And then the 2 fumbles on the same play. And then, it's just like I was doing when they played the Chargers. They're gashing them on the ground, and they get away from the run.
Yep.
Just feed marks.
I mean,
this talk, the O-line this, the O-line's fine. You have found, and like Aikman pointed out, I don't think anyone expected this, how they gashed them on. They have found a running game, but they refuse to embrace it.
They looked really good last night running the football. I felt like super good for Nick Chubb last night because he was a factor.
Yes.
And that dude has been through so much and so many bad injuries, and he was an absolute truck as a running back, and I want good things to happen to people like him. And to see him have moments last night when they had to have it, but also when they got away from it, when it was still a tight game, you had to be throwing things at the house. Like, what are we doing here, guys?
Should be
Come
a blowout.
on.
I know. Should be a blowout.
Stroud's been terrible the whole game. You don't want.
Oh.
How did he miss Collins on the touchdown?
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, my God. He's open by 10 yards.
It's like we got a couple tweets, and Ian was one of them, about the more you see of this guy, the worse it gets.
Oh, no doubt.
About what's the future with this guy. He comes and he lights the league on fire. Mm-hmm. They win a playoff game. He's throwing for 350 every week. And now it's just off a cliff. And they won a playoff game last year, but that's when Herbert imploded. And then just some of them, he was bad against the Chargers. And this is in a playoff game, he's killing them. I mean, come on, man. Yeah. Some of these, it's just silly mistakes. Those are rookie mistakes he's making out there. And to miss Collins, and thank God they had Kirk. So even though they're going to have bad news here on Collins, I still think they have enough to go to the Super Bowl because the defense is that good. And the weapons are there in the rushing attack. Because Kirk's good. They have Schultz. They got Higgins. They have Noel. That should be enough. But this guy can't keep turning the ball over.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. Also, like when it comes to Rodgers, like he played well enough for the entire year, start to finish, to come back and give it a go one more time. I would say in the right situation. I don't know if Pittsburgh's the right situation. They're going to have a new coach. Who the hell knows how that's going to go? But also, like, what would be the right situation for him to go to?
You know what, an interesting tweet was our friend Brian Mahoney, who covers the NBA, pointing out you didn't see a lot of pat on the backs and go get him next time after the pick 6. It's kind of like they have moved on as well because he's a prickly pear.
And I think I brought that up. It was the day after a primetime game. Was it the Packer game or was it another game this year where the next day on the show, I'm like, did you notice how he got killed and turned the ball over and went the other way? The Bills game. And
he's
I'm like,
bloody
and nobody was...
Helped them up.
Nobody wanted. Yep, not a single player did.
I know.
I think Atlanta would be intriguing to me. They move on from Cousins. They don't know what to do with Penix. Atlanta goes there. He goes there and plays in a dome because they have weapons, man. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
Well, I just think that should have worked less. I just thought they should have looked at a better performance. I mean, where were the dump-offs to Gainwell? Where was the quick stuff? I guess guys couldn't get open. Metcalf let him down with the big drop. But Metcalf, what is it with these guys who demand the ball? Then they have a drop and disappear.
Happens all the time.
Yeah. So he had a bad performance and only 2 catches. But, the Detroit game, you can say bad defense, okay, fine. They moved it against Detroit. They moved it twice against Baltimore. And they had a good showing in the other game. Cleveland was the outlier, although you could say their coach tried to avoid getting Garrett the record. But that was an abomination last night.
And as for the Texans moving on, we'll dive into that game a little bit more when we get into the divisional numbers. They're taking on New England, obviously, next weekend. And the Patriots taking a little bit of money here in the market. And I said this last night. We taped the latest episode of Pod to the Futures. JBT and I, it's available now wherever you listen to your podcasts. I brought up that when you look at every single unit remaining out of the 8 teams in the playoffs, I actually think when any unit brings their absolute A game, A-plus game, I think the Texas defense is probably the best unit remaining. It's close. It's them, the Rams offense, maybe the Broncos defense.
There's a but, though. Benjamin Solak wrote about this on ESPN.com. Seattle, great defense. The but. Couple bad performances. The Rams game, Houston against the Raiders, Arizona.
Oh, I know, but
the Colts game.
For the most part.
But when they're locked in, there's good luck with that pass rush. Those guys are just behemoths. Throw you out of the way.
No kidding. We'll continue. A lot more news to get into. Paulie got his wish as this OC got whacked earlier today, and he wasn't the only one. Follow the money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Laptop or phone, couch or sportsbook, VSiN goes where you go. Wherever you watch VSiN, the experience stays seamless. Live shows, replays, and sports-specific clips all at your fingertips. VSiN Watch puts you in the driver's seat. Available in Roku, Samsung, Amazon, iOS, Android, app stores, or get it direct from the source at VSiN.com. Download VSiN Watch today on your favorite app store and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
On the next A Numbers Game, the divisional round is in front of us, and Warren Sharp has all his thoughts on the 4 games this weekend, as does Nick Whalen, Jaguar fan. We'll have to talk about that as well, see if he's doing okay, but his thoughts on the divisional round. Todd Wishnev on college hoops, Greg Peterson on college hoops as well, and Will Hill with all of his bets across the sports betting landscape, pro, college, who knows what else. It's A Numbers Game, 10 a.m. Eastern, 7 a.m. Pacific, right here at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
The Tomlin news, that's only the tip of the iceberg today. Other guys have also been fired. Started earlier today with the Chargers. They said bye-bye to offensive coordinator Greg Roman. He's the only OC who John Harbaugh ever had in the NFL. Was his OC in San Francisco for the 3 years and has been with him in L.A. with the Chargers the last 2 years as well. You wanted him gone. You were disgusted with what took place on Sunday night.
Oh, yeah. That was sick. Tough to watch. Vrabel undressed him. No doubt about it. No creativity, no design runs. Couldn't pick up the pressures and the stunts. No one could get open. And the big one was the substitutions, where you're down 2 scores and you're burning 40 seconds off the clock.
Mm-hmm.
What happened there? So, O-line coach gone, Roman gone. There are some great jobs that are open and available. Can you imagine you come in and be the OC and work with Herbert? You know, you
That's
got
pretty strong.
Baltimore job open, Baltimore OC job, Pittsburgh job. No
Lions
doubt.
OC job.
The Lions OC job, yep.
And this one as well. The Eagles fired OC Kevin Patullo. I think Captain Obvious here saying that everybody in the world knew that this was coming. He gone.
5th OC in the last 5 years now.
Yeah.
So they have to make a change.
That's also, in theory, a pretty damn good gig, is it not?
Yep.
With all that personnel?
Yeah. Might have to deal with some drama, but that should work. And that was unacceptable, what we watched all year out of the Eagles. The other thing, too, Becton, Mekhi Becton, said yesterday he was never comfortable playing in Roman's scheme. That also. And then Harbaugh didn't give him an endorsement after the loss as well. So I think you knew this was coming, that Roman was out, and you knew this Patullo news was coming, too. But this should have happened in the midway through the season. The Warren Sharp is right. This shouldn't have got to this point.
No.
You wasted a good defense, and you wasted a chance to defend the title. I mean, it just the alarming stuff in what Orlovsky tweeted about how they're running the same plays time and time and time again, and especially on the final drive against the 49ers. Oh.
I also wonder now what's going to happen with a team like the Raiders, because again, as soon as Pete Carroll was fired last week, that night / the next day, the rumors were out there that the combo, Brady wants the combination of Brian Flores as the head coach and Brian Daboll as the offensive coordinator. Well, now Brian Flores is and has been interviewing with other teams. And of all these job openings now, I don't think Daboll's not going to get a head coaching gig, I don't think right now. But certainly we just rattled off all these teams that now have an OC opening. And I think Brian Daboll would make a great candidate for a bunch of these jobs. And maybe both those guys say,
Yep.
Raiders would have been fun last week. This week, don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and what do the Eagles look like with Daboll as the head coach? What do the Chargers, or as the OC, what would the Chargers look like? What would the Lions look like with either him or Mike McDaniel? Pretty good job openings out there right now. And I do think that, again, you're wasting, to me, I think you're kind of wasting money at this point because you can find prediction markets up with Mike Tomlin and where he's going to be the next, head coach, or like all these openings now have him as well. He's going to TV, is he not? Or he's taking the year off.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would be recommending put money down on this guy to be the next head coach anywhere. Probably burned out as well.
Oh, sure. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
He was there for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Graziano, ESPN, has the Raiders hiring Saleh now. You're not going to win the press conference with that one. Oh.
Seems a little unlikely, eh?
That is tough.
How about this weather update for Chicago this weekend?
Getting juicy.
Could be one of the coldest NFL and Chicago Bears games on record. So there's some of the forecasts are saying wind chills between 0 and -10 degrees mid-afternoon on Sunday. Air temps for a high maybe in the 10 to 15 range. Wind gusts 20 to 30 miles an hour. It's looking like one of those doozies that we get in the Midwest once in a while when the Packers are alive or some other teams in that neighborhood.
That might not go well for Stafford in the offense. And the Rams haven't played a weather game like this cold, freezing temperatures, since 1983 in the playoffs. And it's their first playoff meeting since 1985 when it was Dieter Brock and the boys against the best defense of all time. So this really becomes juicy about the weather, and really hard to make a case for the over if you're going to see weather like this and cold like this.
Well, this has really dropped. It's down to 48.5 now at most books.
Uh-huh.
That was touching, 51?
Yes.
So if you're getting ahead of that early with that report, man, you're sitting on a pretty good number again because 51's key. Look at the Bills-Jags game from this weekend.
Imagine 5 degrees and he's throwing that fastball at you. Oh, it's coming. Good luck catching that rock.
So it seems like this might be a good game for the rushing attacks to take over.
Mm-hmm.
I think both teams can have some success, by the way, on the ground.
Right, but that goes back to what we said yesterday when we need to put in the coach who could lose his mind. Well, they both could. Johnson going for it.
He did on Saturday night.
Will Johnson continue to do the buffoonery on 4th down? And I could see McVay getting away from the run, especially when it's working.
The Bears are, get this, Paulie, the Bears are 29th in adjusted line yards, 15th in power success, 26th lowest stuffed rate in football, 25th at the second level, and 26th in the open field against opposing rush offenses. And you can, so that obviously you can, this should be a big Kyron Williams and Blake Corum game for the Rams. But does he get cute and say, it's working, but I also want to have my MVP quarterback go out there and get Nakua involved in Devontae Adams and make it look pretty?
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I find it interesting that the top 3 teams in turnover differential all lost the turnover differential wild card weekend with Houston, Chicago, and Jacksonville. At least 2 of them moved on, though. But does Stafford make mistakes? The Bears have been living off turnovers all year. 33 takeaways plus 22 turnover differential. And I would think this definitely helps them. And I like the Bears rushing attack, too.
Yeah, so do I.
And maybe they get off to a hot start and take the lead.
Now, what do you want to do with the Patriots number?
I like the Patriots. There were 2.5 was out there, and now it keeps going up. Not only do I think he's out Sunday, I don't know if they're going to have Nico Collins for the AFC title game.
He took 2 shots last night.
I know. And that's the one where you grab in the head.
Yeah.
So remember how long Stroud missed? And Nico's already had one? Oh, it's unfortunate. So the Patriots, again, are on a 16-1-1 run. First half money line at 15-3 ATS. 13-0-1 last 14. I think Patriots win a low-scoring game. And I don't think I can depend on Stroud, even though I think they can lean into the rushing attack. And maybe win a low-scoring game. But the comeback is, May struggled. And May had some turnovers, too, against the good Charger defense. But I think the Patriots will beat the Chargers, the Texans, excuse me.
I think Collins is obviously one of the better weapons in the entire league. However, it's going to be balanced out a little bit because if this happens, and that is Christian Gonzalez, who was excellent for the Patriots, their cornerback, he's one of their best defensive players. He's also in the concussion protocol. So if you wipe him off the field, maybe that's pretty even. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. The other thing is this Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud thing, that discussion, that was a blowout. That's not the case anymore.
No, it's not.
How bad Stroud has played. But the one thing that'll help him out is also May can move. May's great scrambling.
We saw that again.
Yeah, Rodgers cannot move. And May had the most rushing yards in that game Sunday. But it goes back to what we watched Sunday night where, New England's 26th in sacks. They're 23rd in DVOA. And yet what Roman made them look like was unacceptable. And there was no screens, draws, any of that. So it'll be a different ballgame, I would hope, against Houston. But again, they have to lean into the rushing attack. And New England did a good job against the Chargers' rushing attack. Boy, I wish I had the Hampton news. Just go out there for a play and that's it. Yeah. Could have killed it with the props.
Yeah, no kidding.
But again, I still think they have what a job Kirk has done. And it was a great call by the guru last night, who loved them over.
Well, you won't believe you're going to have this and win some, lose some coming up in about 20 minutes. There was at least one book, maybe 2, offering Kirk to lead the wildcard weekend in rushing yards. I had the right team, wrong player. I had Collins. I wish I had this guy. You won't believe the number. Paulie will tell you in about 20 minutes on the show. Also, the Patriots do allow 58 yards to tight ends throughout the entire year. Schultz, we were expecting things from Schultz last night. Never really got it. But I think this could be a decent game for him. Stover, maybe.
Do you think they have enough pieces? Can that team go to the Super Bowl with what they have now in that defense?
Yeah, because
10 in a row.
Yeah, the defense is so good. Here's the thing.
I agree.
C.J. Stroud just can't screw it up.
Right.
That's it. Because you're giving them the keys to a Ferrari here with that defense.
Right, and they already should have beat Denver. That's the game he got hurt.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So I think they match up well against the Broncos, and they can match up well here. But they're going to have to win, 20 to 13 games, and you're right, you can't make mistakes and play like that.
So some books did move this number now to 3.5 already. Yeah, I saw that 2.5 last night for a second, and I was like, man, I think I need to bet that. And by the time we were taping Pot of the Futures, I'm like, by the time I went back and looked, there was already 3, and now 3.5's out there. Otherwise, like here at Circuit, it's 3 minus 20 cents on the Patriots. Because my level of trust right now with C.J. Stroud is just, it's not just last night. We said this yesterday on the show.
Right. Yes.
Like he feels like a guy that you have to throw in the same playoff category as like a Lawrence, as a Darnold, as Herbert, wasn't great last year. But just he needs to kind of do it to prove it to me. And he was completely shaky in that game last night, and that's not even a strong enough word. Mark Malus is on the program, covered him next. WFAN and SNY. He hosted with Paulie around Christmas, said to watch out for John Harbaugh to the Giants. That's now about 60% to happen at various prediction markets. Is he strong or maybe even stronger on it today?
Time. There's nothing more valuable. It's what drives everyone to make the most of every moment. We celebrate living large in the now. In a city where time disappears, we create experiences that electrify the soul and memories that will last forever. We go big, we go all night, and here, everyone is invited. So get loose and get loud.
This is Circa. You'll have the time of your life.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup. Then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to vsin.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll expand on some of these job openings now for head coach in the National Football League. And by the way, if you're just tuning in right now, earlier this morning, Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh Steelers head coach, said that I've had enough. I'm done. He's stepping down. Not fired, stepped down after 19 years as the head coach of the Steelers. And right now we go out to the progressive guest line. Mark Malusis joins the program. He has hosted plenty of shows here on VSiN, WFAN, and SNY in New York. Mark, pleasure talking to you. How are you today?
Mitch, Paulie, what's going on, guys? I'm doing great. How about you?
Doing really well. This is absolutely chaotic with all the news. We'll ask you about Mike Tomlin here in a minute, but you were hosting with Paulie. I was out one day around Christmas, and you brought up the idea and put the audience on high alert. You might want to pay attention to John Harbaugh to the Giants. Now, keep in mind, again, with the timeline, he was not fired. Still had the job, had a chance to win the division, make the playoffs, obviously. He was around 16-1, if you could find it. Now on prediction markets, he's between 54 and 60% today. Why were you so strong about it a couple of weeks back?
Because just when Harbaugh started getting hit, first and foremost, the Giants, I think, were looking for an established head coach after going down the coordinator route and failure with McAdoo, failure with Pat Shurmur, failure with, Brian Daboll. You go up and down the line. Joe Judge, who was on the Ole Miss sidelines. I think the Giants, given the fact that, they've kind of been in the abyss here for a while, and it's a talented team, I think, if you take a poll in that building, I think they probably think the coaching staff failed more than anything else. Blue games left and right. I think they were looking for an established coach, and the only guy sitting out there was McCarthy. And I don't think I'd necessarily look at McCarthy as being that culture changer, kind of, 2 feet on the ground, eyes straight ahead, hold guys accountable. They needed somebody to step into that room. And I really thought that when Harbaugh started getting asked questions down in Baltimore after 18 years about his coaching future, and when that Raven season looked like it wasn't going to be meaningful at the end, it ended up being meaningful, but you got a sense that probably that there was a sign or a hint to change, and I think he's the perfect candidate. I mean, sometimes it's got to be right place, right time, and I thought if he ever shook free, that he would be the apple of the eye of the New York Giants, and they've gone all in. Now it's up to him to decide exactly where he wants to coach. I do think the Giants are an appealing job based on the fact that they do have a young quarterback in Jackson Dart. I think most people believe has got a real amount of ability to him. And they've got some good pieces in together as well on that roster. When you're looking at edge rushers, there's a great left tackle in Andrew Thomas. If Malik Neighbors comes back from that torn ACL, an elite level wide receiver, Cam Scatterbo, very good running back room, offensive line got figured out. It's an NFC East that's kind of in a state of flux. When you look at Philadelphia, Washington coming off a down year, you look at the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones all gets in the way. I think if you're looking at John Harbaugh, wants to stay in the Northeast potentially, that's why I think it's a perfect match. I think the coach, the coaching style, and where the Giants are as an organization, that's why they're all in.
All right, good answer. I love all the talent on offense. Could he reach Carter? And is there enough talent defensively that they can turn this around as the defense was so bad and Bowen got fired?
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, I think, Paulie, when you look at when they got rid of Shane Bowen, look at the defensive metrics and the stats for the Giants. They were significantly better against the run. Abdul Carter flashed the last 3 games of the season. Now you might say, listen, the Giants weren't playing for anything. Listen, Abdul Carter is only 21, 22. There's no doubt that he's got a world of ability. He's got to grow up. I mean, the nonsense has got to stop, right? And that's really a case where you look at a guy that's going to step into the room, that's going to be that culture changer, is hold guys accountable. It's win. And that's what you're judged by in the National Football League, by the scoreboard each and every week. And I think John Harbaugh kind of epitomizes that. Had a lot of success down in Baltimore. Should he have won more? Yeah, no doubt about it. But he's not Loop. He didn't miss the kick. He's not Andrews. He didn't drop the ball up in Buffalo. He's not Zay Flowers. He didn't fumble the ball against the Kansas City Chiefs. So you can only do so much, right? So you look at, defensively, I think there are pieces in place to be excited about. Abdul Carter, obviously, I think you just saw the tip of the iceberg in terms of his talent at the end of the season. If you're able to get to him and teach him how to be a pro, I think he's got an unbelievable amount of ability.
From a betting standpoint, as of right now, betting odds on is not exactly like having 16-1 in pocket, but now you might have a little bit more information, as you're saying here. Do you think that he would be worth a bet to land the Giants gig, or no? It's like that time was a couple of weeks back.
I don't think the value's there, Mitch, right now. To be honest with you, I think kind of you had to kind of take a shot that he was going to shake free down in Baltimore, and then when he shook free, I think he became kind of the apple of the Giants' eye, and I think he's just as interested in the Giants' job as the Giants are interested in him. Maybe not to the level that the Giants are in him, because I think he's got options, whether it be Cam Ward in Tennessee. Obviously, he had a meeting with the Atlanta Falcons, and there's a draw to the Cleveland Browns because, that's where obviously family connections out there to the Ohio area. But still, I think when all thing is said, if you're looking to try and win, he's 63 years old, right? He doesn't want to go out there and kind of ride it out. He wants to try and win. He's a competitive guy. I think when you look at the pieces of the New York Giants, I think you look at a team that's got a number of good pieces together in place, needs to add, and they need to be taught how to win. And I think the Giants right now are all in financially. I think they'll give him the financial wherewithal to bring in the assistants and the coordinators that he's looking to try and do and really change that organization, that franchise around and get the Giants back to where they should be.
9 openings. Pittsburgh, Baltimore, and Cleveland open at the same time. What do you think the Steelers are going to do?
Yeah, it's a great question. I don't know. I mean, there's been rumors about Marcus Freeman, that even though he re-signed the contract extension with Notre Dame, that the job that he would be interested in would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's been those rumblings around on the internet. I don't know if that's necessarily the case, but Pittsburgh, it's, you think about it. In my lifetime, I've seen, Noel, Cowher, and Tomlin. I mean, that's been it. I mean, you think about that when you look at Mike Tomlin stepping down as Steelers head coach, and I don't know necessarily if he's going to go into the broadcast booth or if he's going to search for another job. But if you're in Pittsburgh right now, I think it's a time to find somebody young, dynamic, and you're going to have to go into a rebuild. Listen, it might be the last day of Rodgers as an NFL quarterback. Maybe he seeks other options. Watt is getting up there in age. Certainly Hayward is. It's an older team. They went all in on this season. And unfortunately, it came to a thud of an end on Monday night against the Houston Texans. But that's probably where I was going to go. They do have a history of finding good ones, though, when you look at it from the Pittsburgh Steelers perspective.
Yeah, offshore right now. These were just posted. Brian Flores, 3-1, next Steelers head coach, and Marcus Freeman plus 350. That would make sense, right? Freeman would fit that bill of, again, you go back and look at the last 3 guys they hired. Noel was 37, Cowher 34, Tomlin 34. Like, he could be a guy that could go there for 15 years, I think.
Oh, there's no question. And now more than ever, when you look at college football, it's more like professional football than anything else, dealing with NIL deals and the amount of money that's being played. And listen, Notre Dame's a great job. There's no doubt about it. But when you're thinking about great jobs in the National Football League, there are a few that are kind of above everybody else. All right. And the Steelers being one of them, the Dallas Cowboys being one of them. You step in and you're the Pittsburgh Steelers head coach. That has a little bit of an extra kick to it than other NFL jobs, even though all of them are obviously rare and great finds if you're an assistant or if you're in the college ranks.
Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Mark Malusis. You can follow him on X at his name, at Mark Malusis. He's with WFAN and SNY. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. We were talking about some of these games now that they're established with the schedule for the divisional round. Do you have a best bet here early on a Tuesday for the upcoming weekend?
Yeah, I like Houston. I mean, I do. I mean, defense travels, and that defense is as good of a unit as there is that's left on the board, AFC or NFC. It really is. And you saw that against the old Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. And, you saw that New England Patriot offense get shut down by the Los Angeles Chargers. Unfortunately for the Chargers, Justin Herbert and that offense didn't do anything, and it cost their OC his job earlier today. Now the question is, and Mitch, you hit upon it right in the segment right before I hopped on with you guys, is can CJ Stroud get out of the way? Yeah. I mean, that's basically it, right? Don't implode. Don't turn the ball over 2-3 times like you did against Pittsburgh. See, if you do that against New England, the Texans are going to lose. You did it against the Steelers, and they were able to survive and marched on and did it stylishly 30-6. I think he does a better job taking care of the football. I think that Texans defense I think it could take them all the way to the Super Bowl. I think they are, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people are on Houston coming into these AFC playoffs, and I think they're live at +3 going into Foxborough this weekend in the divisional round. I think they're going to win the game outright.
Hey, Mark, great perspective. Pleasure talking to you. Thanks so much for the time today. We appreciate that.
Mitch, Paulie, love you guys. You guys do an unbelievable job. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Moose.
There you go. Mark Malusis, the Moose, on the Progressive Guest Line, WFAN and SNY in New York.
Kingsbury's 30-1. And maybe Kyler Murray winds up in Pittsburgh. Who knows? Signetti is not listed at this one site. But Bill Cowher is. And John Gruden.
Oh, remember Joe Gibbs came back to take the, at the time, Redskins job yet again. There was an offshore book back then that then posted the next Redskins coach. Gibbs was 10,001.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah. And he took the gig one more time. So, but I liked his answer there. If you have 16-1 in pocket right now, when he talked about it, good bet. Don't force it right now.
Yeah, most places didn't even have him on the list.
Yep.
When he asked, but the one place had 16-1 up on him. That was a good call.
Win some, lose some is coming up next. Christian Kirk led wildcard weekend in receiving yards. You will not believe the number that was out there. Paulie with the details coming up next.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Check out Stormy and JVT on Money Moves, only on VSiN.
And maybe that's why they wouldn't, because they're the Giants and they don't do things that make sense.
Out of all these divisions, this is the one that I am the most curious about because I do think there are positive signs for the Bears.
They'll take you on a fun, fast-paced journey, weaving in everything you need to know to make an educated bet, while also not shying away from the excitement of a same-game parlay sweat. Money Moves, weekdays at 2 p.m. Eastern on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Win Some, Lose Some is sponsored by the Sharp Plays.
Were you a winner last night?
Wow, winning.
Or was it a rough one?
Well, they can't all be winners, can they?
Loser! You're a loser!
Paulie Howard recaps the night in sports betting in Win Some, Lose Some.
All right, it was the Christian Kirk game last night. Sit back, enjoy. First touchdown, 30-1. That's Will Hill. Most receiving yards in the game was 22-1. Now, how about what Lance Schaefer did, a viewer? He's a little ticked off. He didn't bet Kirk most receiving yards, but he laddered him at FanDuel. 50 yards was plus 520. 60 yards was plus 870. 70 yards was 13-1. 80 yards was 17-1. 90 yards was 30-1. And that's when he stopped.
You got to be kidding me.
Can you believe? Look at these tickets. You'd have kept going. Maybe they said no more, no mas.
Yeah, they probably stopped it at the 90.
That's a dream matchup. You get a guy like we talked about yesterday. Well, I liked MVS and Thielen over. I'm like, you can get this on one catch. But if you have a guy that low and he explodes like Kirk did,
I really hate
that's what
myself.
we're talking about with the ladders. 30-1 to have 90 yards.
Yep.
Oh.
Boy, that's full of regrets here for me. I had Collins.
Yeah. Well done, Lance.
Because you can, the Steelers were dominated all year long by wide receivers. And his number was so low.
Yeah, what Zay Flowers did, and that's sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a case. No doubt. Defensive touchdown, 3-1. Texans, the first team since 1950 to have 2 defensive touchdowns and hold their opponent under 10 points. Scoreless quarter, 2-1. Would that have been the sickest beat ever if that went over?
100%.
You had a 3-0 first quarter and a scoreless third quarter. And then here come the defensive touchdowns.
That's getting kicked in the temple by a donkey.
Yep.
Come on.
How about
that
the
had
Steelers?
no business whatsoever.
Yep. How about the Steelers defense let go of the rope? 1st and 15, they don't even bother to get a hand on marks?
No.
I mean, it was set up there. Stroud got us good.
They tapped out last night.
Yeah, how we lost the Fairbairn prop. He should have had 2 field goals at least. Woody Marks, 20 rushing yards each quarter, 35-1. 10 rushing yards each quarter plus 460. 50 rushing yards each half, 15-1. Wow. Miss extra point plus 280. This is at Circa. Most passing yards, wild card weekend, Williams 11-1. Most rushing yards, Woody Marks 20-1. They did not offer Kirk. So Loveland cashed at 70-1, but Kirk was offered at FanDuel. And he was 400-1. And somebody put $1 on it. And they got the screen grab out there. Good for you. 400-1. Incredible that they went down that long list.
Unbelievable.
And said, well, you never know. Kirk maybe could do this. And he did.
Yeah.
Of all
That's
people.
amazing.
6 games. Christian Kirk.
Comes in. Yep. Guru loved him yesterday.
I know. Couldn't get enough of him. Highest scoring team, Rams 3-1. Lowest scoring team, Chargers 8-1. Imagine if you bet the Steelers and you couldn't get there. They score 6. Jazz plus 450 on the money line. Beat the Cavs on the road. Kings 3-1. Routed the Lakers.
Well, the Lakers are in, I mean, just really poor form right now. And by the way, for the people who missed it over the weekend, that Jazz bounce back last night was after they lost 150-95 at home.
Was that the last game?
To Charlotte on Saturday.
That was a good angle. Oh, that was a great angle.
They're pros. They were missing guys in that game. They're pissed off. They come back.
What was the first quarter score?
45-14. First half was 77-38. I know I had first half over. I had first quarter over of that game, went over by the hook. I got 45 points by one team, went over by the hook. And I missed it by 1.5 because the other team could only score 38 in the first half.
Yeah, that was at home.
Incredible.
Maple Leafs plus 195. They ended the Avalanche 17-game home ice streak. Subscribe, be part of the team, VSiN.com, our radio and podcast friends. You always want to see these tweets and videos. At Paulie Does Vegas on Instagram. Send them in. We'll put you on. Know you like this one. The Orioles are doing Tupac bobblehead night. Oh, that's going to be huge. Now, that's creative and thinking outside the box. Not bad.
That's a great-looking bobblehead.
It is.
Right? Well done.
Yes.
I would definitely go out of my way to get one of those. I lived in that area.
Yep. Very good. And this is a Bears fan coming home after the win, and they beat the Packers again, grating cheese for the dogs. Look at that. Get in there. Come on, jump on up.
Okay,
Come on.
now that's damn funny.
That's
really well done.
I love the hats that all the Bears fans were wearing. And Caleb put it on after the game, too. Those are good. And they're all coming up. Yeah. All right. We got the cheese heads again. Come on in. Let's celebrate. Lose some, Tomlin. lose some Rodgers. Rodgers' career ends on a pick 6. Likely. Tomlin lost 7 straight playoff games. 1-11 when trailing at the half. And the Cavaliers have more losses than all of last season.
Oh.
With number 19 last night.
Wow.
Think about that.
Good one.
That is tough. Before the line moves, the sharp place is already there. January isn't about volume, it's about precision. The NFL playoffs are when limits rise, mistakes shrink, and timing matters more than ever. Powered by advanced AI and connected to proven insider sources. Locked in on the NFL playoffs, the Sharp Plays helps identify where the sharp money hits before the number disappears. Free reports, alerts, and market-moving insights straight to your inbox or X feed. Jeff and the crew have been at it since 2011. They backed it up with documented results, public logs, and transparent receipts. SharpPlays.com. Trusted by pros and monitored by the book. Stay ahead of the line this postseason. Visit SharpPlays.com.
It's a top.
You ain't first, you're last.
5.
That's not enough, Dad!
Tuesday.
I've been ready for this my whole life.
Top 5 Tuesday.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Follow the money.
Good discussion here. We're down the divisional round. 4 games left, 8 quarterbacks. Who are your top 5 quarterbacks left in the playoffs? I got to go with Superman, Josh Allen, number 1. Josh Allen is a pick. Denver was 1 in other spots against the 1 seed and the Broncos. Josh Allen against the world. Can this happen? I have to have Stafford number 2 because of the concerns of the turnovers. And he was so good for much of the season, but the Atlanta game, and at times, he got bailed out a couple times in that Carolina game. Threw it up for grabs, 3rd and 1. Puka helped him out. Can't have the big turnover. Have him ahead of Drake May. Drake a little shaky in his first playoff start against the Chargers. A lot of turnovers this year with the 49ers. Purdy gave away the ball twice to Philly. Philly still couldn't take advantage. Brock has a tendency to make some poor decisions, but still put up good numbers. Kudos to him, the organization, and Shanahan for having him to get this far. I have him 4, and I have Caleb Williams number 5, who just, I don't know what happened in the first half, but that second half against the Green Bay to score on 5 of their 6 second half possessions in the play of the year maybe. Throwing, jumping, and falling down on the 4th and 8 to Odunze that saved them down 11 with 5 minutes. That's how I see it.
Yeah, my honorable mention, we're pretty much on the same page here. I have Nick, Stroud, and Darnold in my honorable mention. I think we could probably all agree on that.
Yeah.
Too much of the unknown there.
First time since 1978 a 1 seed has a player who led the league in turnovers. Sam Darnold.
Wow. So I'll go in reverse order here. I have Purdy number 5, a little bit behind Caleb Williams, and that is just because of, and again, this is not legacy. This is not who's won a Super Bowl, an MVP, who's going to win the MVP this year. Has nothing to do with it. Like, top 5 quarterbacks that we like moving forward in the playoffs as of right now, all things considered. I have Purdy behind Williams just because of the injuries again. I would probably have Purdy high. I'd probably have Purdy 3rd on the list if they never had any injuries this year. But I have him 5th up against it, losing Kittle as well.
That's a good point. Yeah, durability.
Caleb's number 4. Again, the ceiling here for this guy's off the charts, but I cannot have him higher than Drake May because I don't know if New England's good. I'm pretty damn convinced May is not this year. I'm talking about next 10 years. I could eat these words. I think he's like superstar, man.
Yeah.
I really do.
I see that.
Because he's got a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Very pretty deep ball, scrambling when it matters most. Guy's absolutely legit, but can't have him ahead of Stafford, nor can I have him ahead of Josh Allen. Josh Allen is probably the best player in football overall. Has to be Superman, does it all the time.
They'd run the tush push better than Philly now.
I know that. But I just also can't have Stafford ahead of Allen. Can't. I have a couple of question marks about some dicey play here in the last month or so.
Is that fair, though? Stafford has a Super Bowl.
That doesn't really factor into me.
No?
Not for this. No, not for this argument.
Okay.
Overall. But I think we're pretty much...
well, it's not Allen's fault they lost some of those Kansas City.
No, for sure. Allen, in fact, I'll do that tomorrow. Allen's been really good in the playoffs. I'll throw one at you here. Coaches who could screw it up. How would you rank that in order?
Oh, God.
Who's the number 1 coach that could screw it up this weekend? Would you say McDermott?
How so? Gambling?
Oh, but some decision that's going to come back to bite him big time. I'll tell you another one. I think the other guy in that game, Peyton, can get way too cute with the play calling at times.
Mm-hmm.
We might see a double reverse in this game that can be picked off. I don't know.
That's some bad moments.
Yeah, yes.
Yep. That's a tough one. Least likely, I would say Vrabel.
I have him listed as least.
I trust Vrabel. Trust Vrabel a lot.
Mm-hmm. I think you can trust
McVay
McDonald.
McVay does a lot of weird stuff.
Oh, he does.
And again, they're horrible short yardage.
Well, I don't know about Ryans at
Ben
times.
Johnson. I'm going to say Ben Johnson.
He gets screwed up.
After going for it 4th and 4 on his own 32.
I have it McDermott, Peyton Johnson, then McVay. The two guys
Not
I
bad.
trust the most, I think, Vrabel and Shanahan, but
yeah.